The subject matter of tonight is going to be homelessness. It can happen to anyone. It happened to me. It's happening to millions of Americans, Europeans, Asians, Indians. It's happening to Americans and people in other countries, even Britain. So, for me, it was, when I talk about real homelessness, I'm not talking about necessarily you're going to move somewhere and you're staying in a motel for a month. I'm not talking about, that's a form of homelessness. Don't get me wrong, but just say you're waiting on your new place and you're staying in a hotel for a month until your new place is ready. I had gone through that before also. I'm talking about homelessness where you are living in a vehicle, on the streets, you're living from couch to couch. 2 weeks you're here, 1 week you're there. This 3 weeks you're in a shelter. So, for many people, it catches you by surprise. It is something that you will definitely underestimate. It is not an experience that you will just wake up from one day and just say, hey, I'm my same self. The experience, especially if it goes on for longer than a month, may change you in many ways, not necessarily for the better. In some ways, the experience of homelessness will change you for the better, but in many ways, it won't. So, the first thing you're going to go through is a period of shock. Um, and if you are going through the homeless situation, either by yourself, with your parents, with your children, you may be the type of person where your flight or fight mode kicks in and you appear to be not depressed, even though once you move into your new residence, the depression may show up later. However, for me, it was a 8-month process. Okay. 4 months of it, I actually lived in my SUV with my sons. Um, I was working. Um, my children were well adjusted, clean. We tried to do the best that we could do. I'm not gonna lie. I was late, continuously late on my rent. I still never really saw myself as someone that would end up living in a car 8 months. I had never lived that type of lifestyle. Homelessness is something that you kind of put it in the back of your mind sometimes. You're busy. Sometimes you're too busy to think about it. You're too busy working the 2 or 3 jobs. You're too busy taking care of the children. You're too busy having fun. You're too busy having holiday dinners at people that you think are your friends. Um, this is one thing I'm going to say. If you can recover from the homelessness, it can be one of your biggest blessings in your entire life. Okay? For one, What about this? God has so much money to send you, and He has so many blessings to anoint you with. So, one of the things that God Almighty will do for those that He really loves, He will make you aware of who your enemies are. So that as your wealth and your savings comes in, once you recover from the homelessness, you don't share certain things and riches with certain people. For example, you may be an extremely giving person and you thought that this particular group of people was really, that you may have thought they really loved you. So, say you came into $5 million, you may have actually bought these people a home, bought them a vacation RV, bought them a new house full of furniture. You could have really went out of your way for these so-called friends. So wouldn't you want to know someone doesn't really have your back before your big blessings come through? Okay? Your blessings are just pending, okay? In the state that I live in, most millionaires that live in this state, I think 70 or 80% of all millionaires in this particular state went through some sort of homelessness. So, on the West Coast where I am at, me actually being homeless for 8 months puts me in a higher category, or statistically puts me in a higher category to actually become a millionaire. Okay? If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But I'm just saying, we're going to begin by not looking at your homelessness as only a sad, sorrowful situation. Let's look at the blessings that can come out of homelessness. So, people have a lot of hidden demons themselves. No one's perfect. So, let's go over one thing, okay? Empathy. If you have so called friends, in laws, co workers, and things like that, you will be living in a vehicle or outside if you are not surrounded around people that have a certain level of empathy. You may find that some don't have any at all. Okay, so let's go over, if you're a single female or a single male, people aren't going to want you in their houses with their spouses. So if you are a single female or male and you have married friends, during your homelessness, this will become a time, or this will reveal a time where you will really get to see people's insecurities along with their lack of trust. You may be on a phone conversation and you can kind of tell this person wouldn't mind letting you stay. But then this lady has to think she has a husband, and women want to secure their marriages, and they have a right to do that. Now, on the other hand, you know that you would not go in anyone's house and mess with their husband. However, the world is not going to view you that way. So basically, The only women probably that will ultimately trust you in the house with their men would have been your mother, your grandmother, your closest aunts. And just say those people are out of town or they're already passed away, you're going to be up a creek. Okay. So people will also use this time to, you ever heard of that old saying, kick someone when they're down? Any envy and jealousy that was already there for you, especially if you were pretty independent, this will be a time where you will feel emotionally tortured by some people because the devil now wants to keep you homeless forever. So the devil will use people that's closest to you to say emotionally abusive things. They don't even realize they're under attack. So remain calm yourself. One thing you don't want to do when you're homeless is to go off on these people. These people are not going to allow you to stay with them. These people may not even have the mental capacity to let you stay. These people do not love you. That's why you're sleeping in your car and outside. So the first thing you got to learn is to love yourself. So you don't want to waste time and start debating and arguing, because actually getting in entanglements and arguments and abusive situations with these people could actually lead you to drug abuse, permanent homelessness, loss of your children to foster care. Instead of your situation being 4 months, 8 months, a year, 2 years, you could end up out there homeless for 10 years. So, listen to me very carefully. Cut contact with these people immediately. If you need to block them out of your phone, do that. And then once you recover from the homelessness, if it's meant for any of these relationships to repair themselves on some level, say this person is no longer what you would consider a real friend, but you can consider them a distant associate. So allow God to heal and allow you to forgive these people. Okay? Because when you come out of the homelessness, you're going to come out of it 200% better than you ever were. You're going to have a better place, a better residence. Your credit may be restored. You may even be closer to your children. You have new friends. You're in a new church or mosque. Your prayer life is better. There's some things that you no longer commit sin wise. There's a lot of changes that you're going to make, okay? So you got to let them go, okay? You got to have a plan, okay? If you were evicted, if possible, it is in your best interest to pay that eviction off. Go to that landlord and see if they will offer you a deal where they won't put the eviction on your credit if you are willing to pay the eviction off in a certain period of time. On the West Coast where I am, I was given a 4-month plan. So I was given a 4-month period of time to pay the eviction off in exchange for them not placing it on my credit report. That way, I still qualified for quality landlords. You're going to be very hurt when you realize that these people that you have been around for many, many years don't seem to love you. Okay. But that's okay because you're going to love you. Your children are going to love you, and God is going to love you. And you're going to be very understanding of the fact that these people are not emotionally stable enough themselves. And they have a lot of demons in their own lives that God is actually, whether you realize it or not, is protecting you from. Okay? And remember this, you never want anyone to invite you in to stay if they don't really want you there, because that puts you in an abusive situation. So that's one of the things I was very thankful for. And don't ask them. If it was someone that you thought that really loved you and they know you're sleeping in your car and they don't ask you to come, don't ask these people. Try to get in a motel, a shelter program. Um, ask if you're sleeping on the sidewalk. Make it be a situation where you're basically you have no other options. Okay. But try your best. Hold on just 1 second, okay? Hello. I feel much better. Yep, I feel much better. I did a Facebook post today on how good I was feeling. So, so I'll call you right back because I'm doing a video on homelessness now. So I'm just about finished with it. It's gonna be about another 25 minutes. Okay, bye bye. Okay. So, um, that's kind of ironic because we were just talking about people. Um, I was just in the hospital. I had a little episode, migraine headaches. I ended up, I had a low grade ear infection. The infection came down in my eye. I was inflamed. I have asthma. So I actually went in the hospital on my birthday. And so it was not, God healed me. The Lord is good. I'm doing so good today. I even posted a Facebook post about it. So hold on, let me put this phone on the charger here. Okay, sorry. I want to make sure that I finish this video. So and so that would be a perfect example. Um she's just say a good friend of mine. Um I would say she wasn't mentally, she had a lot going on herself. Okay, remember that. People can only offer you what they have to offer, even emotionally. She helped me out financially when I was going through that. But with some of the things that she was going through in her own personal life, the devil was able to kind of manipulate and use her just like the devil uses me. If you have a vulnerability and weakness, the devil will just get in there and do what he can do. So over time, some of these people you're going to forgive. However, you give them what they offered you. Okay, if this person was able to loan you $500, if you come into real estate and you buy you some properties and you're really investing and with your stocks and things, and they need help, give them 1,000. Give them double what they loaned you. Don't loan it, just give it. but you're not going to give them the 30,000. Okay? Because this is someone that hated you so much they were willing to leave you in your vehicle. And you know deep inside your heart they could have done more to help you. Okay? So you just kind of got to life is a game sometimes, you know, but God wants you to know who is there for you. Okay, but God doesn't want you to sit around feeling sorry for yourself. Okay, you don't want to have a pity party. So, if you have people that have passed away in your life that were really, really there for you and loved you, it's going to hurt you because now you got to be a big girl. You got to be a big boy. You have to realize that those people are gone and you are now responsible for yourself. Okay? And you want to forgive and you want to love people. Okay? You don't want to hold a grudge because you have too many blessings that are going to be coming your way. Okay? So, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn how people lack empathy. You're going to learn how people are protective over their spouses and won't want you there. You're going to realize the fakeness that people had with your kids. Your children may be hurt the most. Just your children having to accept, wow, I've been around these people since I was a baby and they left me in a car. Um, it really will be horrific if you have sons because the sad thing is boys are the most abused. So if it happened and your sons are teenagers, people will view your sons like they're men, even though none of them may be old enough to even work a job yet. But it's the stigma that the society will have on males. If people are going to feel more compassionate and let you come, most likely you will have girls. But it's tough. I've seen a lot of females that have male children that are living out of vehicles, living out on the streets. It's really a sad situation. Um, while you're homeless, have a lot of fun. Never look like you're homeless. That first week or two of it may be hard. Um, when my family and I went through it, we had community center memberships. So every day we took showers at the community center. We went swimming, we played basketball, I went to work. Um, my children were involved in sports activities. You continue life as if you still have your place. Consistently pay your bill every month. I could have easily took the money that I had and maybe spent it on a motel. However, I knew in my heart that would keep me homeless longer because I would have had an eviction on my record. So I would have went backwards in life. I would have ended up with slumlords. I would have ended up moving back into maybe certain parts of Seattle that I did not prefer to be in. I had moved out of Seattle because Seattle has declined at such a fast rate. It's certain areas of Seattle. There's gangs in Seattle. It's just a place that I didn't want to be living with my male children that were getting older. Okay. that did not have their father around. Okay. So I am in such a good place right now. I am okay. This is what it is. I'm still recovering, but I'm in a place where I can feel in my bones that things are going to just start happening for me and my family. I could feel it. Um, Sometimes there's sad days. There is a relationship. I had a best friend that I grew up with. Um, and she was going through a lot too. But the narcissism was so strong and it came out so much in her character. There was such a coldness to her. And I mean, this was a best friend I had grew up with since I was 6 or 7 years old. We were in ballet school together. I mean, we basically lived together most of our life as if we were real sisters. I did make a choice up until this very moment to not take that relationship back into my life, but I feel like there was nothing I could say to help this lady, okay? And the betrayal of having a best friend that just lacks that level of empathy and that level of understanding and that level of selfishness, I said I would just get back to that later. If God puts it on my heart to bring that back into my life, so be it. But as of right now, I feel like it's in my best interest to keep that in another place. So, everyone that's homeless will have their own barriers. Some people will have felony convictions. You got to get a to do list, okay? Um, don't get on drugs. And if you are on drugs, if drugs is what sent you into homelessness, get into an AA, find a counselor, get into a drug rehab right away. Um, However, my barriers were financial barriers. So those are barriers that can really create a big problem. However, if you have your health, a financial barrier is something that you can recover from. Okay. So for me, it took 8 months total. Um, the last 4 months of it, my boys were in this really nice youth shelter. It was like, I don't want to call it a foster care. It was a youth shelter, but the state doesn't have custody of the kids. You know, myself as their mom kept custody of them. So it's not a foster care, but and the youth shelter loved them so much they extended their time because it really was like a 6 week program. Very clean, spotless, nice home. Wasn't too far from where I worked. It was just like one little city over. And so I was so blessed to get them involved in the program. It was called Nexus Youth Shelter. I don't know if they have that in other states, but it's NEXUS Youth Shelter. Very excellent program. Shop, save money, forgive, study and learn what narcissist personality disorder is. Get on some legitimate sites like Association Direct with Quinn Holiday. He's a very good gentleman that can teach you. You can go to HD Tutors site. Go to some of the psychologists. Um, Les Carter is a really good psychologist. Dr. Ramani, yeah. And then Dr. Todd Grande explains narcissist personality disorder. That way you can get a better understanding of the type of people that you are around that lack empathy, that ditched you and didn't care about you, or wasn't able to show that they cared about you at your most difficult time. So you have to understand the sickness in that. So you really don't hold it to heart, and not be able to recover. Um, I had a very good cousin back home in Missouri that was so emotionally supportive. I had a couple of really good friends that offered me money, and I told them I just need somebody to talk to. One of the things I did change was just like the call I just got. I don't stay on the phone with people every day. I look at it like this. You're spending 10 hours a week with this so-called good friend on the phone. Okay, remember, when you're talking to people, you're investing your time. But you're investing your time in people that, if push came to shove, they would leave you on your deathbed without a visitor or leave you in a vehicle. So, God just wants you to learn how to reinvent reinvent your time. So, you're going to have a standard and boundary. You're not going to be investing in people anymore and be wasting your time. You could be taking that time earning some extra money, paying your rent and mortgage so you're never homeless again. Time is money. Okay? However, in the meantime, get involved in your religion if you have one. Okay? Because at this time, basically the wrong people were around when it happened. So you want to recreate positive friendships with empathetic, God fearing people, okay? So, in the next crisis, if there's ever one, God can use you to be there for them, and these people will be there for you. However, we want to make it where you never go homeless again. That is possible, okay? So, you're going to create a bank account, okay? Have a couple of savings accounts that you have no cash card, debit card to, that I don't care if you just sit $1,000 there and that's all you can sit there. But you're not going to have this debit card and cash machine card where you can go take this money out. Make it where you actually have to go into the bank to withdraw the money. So that helped me a lot, because this money is totally separate from any debit card that I have, okay? So now, since you're out of the homelessness, you are going to create a consistent prayer life. At a minimum, you need to be praying at least twice a day. Start a YouTube channel. Talk about this with somebody. Vent. Don't be ashamed to share your experience. You don't need to hide this. I never thought I would be sleeping in a car for 8 months. My grandmother was a borderline millionaire, okay? And it happened to me because when it happened, she was far gone, passed away. and the family business was lost. Okay. So you could grow up filthy rich and end up living in your vehicle or on the streets. It happens to the best of us. It doesn't mean that you're not special to the Lord. It does not mean that God does not love you. Okay? And be a light to those that didn't help you with a place to stay. You want to show them how good God is. Because they may sit back and say, man, if that would have happened to me, I would be on some drugs. I would have gave myself to a man I didn't want. Man, I don't know if I could have made it through that. So you're a testimony of the power of the Lord. And also, whether they say it or not, they're going to say, man, God really cares about her. He really protected that woman. Wow, that may be a good woman there. So, you know why God protected you. You know. Okay? Because you know your heart. You know your heart. Okay? So, show that power. Let people see it. God is going to continuously heal your body. He's going to heal your mind. He's going to be doing so much for you. In this homelessness situation, you will carry with you forever because it's going to be a constant planner for you. Because you're always going to go back and say, no, I can't be doing that. I know where that leads. And you're going to be like not paranoid, not a bad paranoid, but you may even be the one to give somebody else advice, and you may see their homelessness coming and be able to intervene in that situation so that it doesn't happen to them. Okay? But when you first move into your new place, you're going to be so comfortable and relaxed. You may sleep a little extra. Try to put yourself on an early cleaning schedule and a routine because you do want your place to be cleaner or as clean as your old place was before you moved out. Okay, each place you move into, you want to make it more spotless and more spotless. If you have a garage, try to keep that garage in order. Sort through your paperwork. Stay hydrated. Don't be sad about what happened, okay? And if you do the right thing and plan, it won't happen again. Don't be worried that you're going to be homeless, living in a car on the streets again, okay? Because you, through obedience to God, okay, you can prevent that from happening. You really can. It's preventable. And the reason it's going to be so preventable, you're not going to have as many friends as you did before. You're not going to be so quick to give away so much of your time like you did before. You're going to be smarter this time because now you know you don't have a lot of friends like you thought you had. Okay? So you're going to be much more wiser and smarter than you ever have been in your entire life. And don't feel like, oh, I was so old when I went homeless. Make sure there may be some health issues that arise that you didn't have before. High blood pressure, maybe a little arthritis, mental health. Try to look at positive educational things on YouTube. Find some good YouTubers to subscribe to. Timothy Ward, he is a great YouTube gentleman. And I didn't find out about him till I had moved into my new place. So I found out about Timothy Ward over the past 2 years. But you talk about a man that can motivate you. He is so positive. Okay. Um, he's a man of color, but I don't care what race you are, European, African, Asian, Indian, you're from India. Timothy Ward will motivate you. You understand me? So get hooked in with Timothy Ward because you are going to love that man. I'm smiling just thinking about him because he's such a positive influence over anyone's life, okay? And he talks about that. I think it's called the nomadic lifestyle. You know, he's definitely an entrepreneur. He's for entrepreneurship on its greatest level. So just fixing my scarf here, guys. So yeah, just I made it through it. I lived in my vehicle 8 months. 4 months of it with my children, and I survived it. And I love the Lord even more. That situation didn't stop me from loving God Almighty. So don't let it do it for you. Okay? You are going to be so powerful when you come out of this. I will continue as I think of more things. I will continue to do more videos. Um, I love the nighttime and the dim light in my home. You see, I have my little glittery lamp here. I'm really enjoying sharing my experience. Um, I've been in my place almost 3 years now, definitely over 2.5 years now. And I finally got brave enough to start sharing my story. 8 months. I ended up moving right next door to where I was evicted from. Okay? Because remember, there's no eviction on my credit. Okay? The first thing I said when it happened, I said, I'm too old to have an eviction on my credit. I was mean and stubborn. Okay? I even had to go to court. The blessing is, I kept every receipt. Keep your receipts and get that monthly ledger of your payment history. Okay, get your total account payment ledger or payment history. I got one of those every month when I was late on my rent, and it really paid off, along with keeping my receipts. So when that landlord starts saying, well, you owe us $10,000. Well, according to this, I owe you $3,000. Okay, so I don't know how I jumped up to a $10,000 bill in a month, but make sure you keep good bookkeeping records. And that was one of the things that really saved me, is getting that account ledger often. Okay, and so that really, really saved me. And just coming to an agreement with that landlord. Be kind. Don't be rude or mean. Just say, hey, I'm gonna pay you, but I need to know what I owe you, and we need to be on the same page. Now if it's just $5 off, okay, don't fight over that. But if what they're saying you owe, and you kept really good records, and it's a $2,000 difference, $1,000 difference, that's too much. So get that in order so that your payment plan will be on the right page. Um, Don't worry about the people that weren't able to help you. Just pray for them. Just pray for them, okay? Just say, well, they just couldn't do it. And you never know what's going on behind people's doors. Just because people invite you over and you have dinners with them, it's a lot people may not want you to see if you were living in their home. So remember, people like to create kind of like a fake facade, but if you're actually move in their home, if they let you live there when you go homeless, then you know the facade is not real. And people don't want to reveal a lot of things that's going on. Like the married couple may not want you to know that they fight and scream and beat up each other every night. They may not want you to know that their kids are not as respectful as they seem to be. They may not want you to know that their spouse doesn't even come home but once a week. There's a lot people are hiding themselves that you may be surprised. So just remember, when someone doesn't offer to help you, there are things that are going on in their lives that is so overwhelming themselves they can't take you on. Just think about it. Have you ever been in a situation where you knew somebody was homeless and you weren't able to help? It could have been something as simple